Welcome to the Odd Man Out podcast. In this episode, we teach you how to make money in the creator economy. Remember, we have a YouTube channel where we post daily on how to grow your brand. So make sure to follow us at youtube.com/@oddmanoutstudio. That's youtube.com/@oddmanoutstudio. Enjoy the show. And we are live. What is going on? Save it. Whoa,
Danny.
dude. Nice take flight hat, bro.
Thanks, dude. You can get it on. No, I'm just kidding.
No, plug it, dude. This episode is
No,
sponsored by
no.
Take Flight. Fuck it, dude. We run this shit.
Oh my god.
I know.
Use code FLIGHT on Sector 6.
Let's get it, dude. Let's get it. I love it. Sabin, today we have a good episode. We were gonna do this last night, but I was too tired. We got a good episode on deck today. I think we got a lot of shit to talk about. I've already flagged the episode. We're already in algo.
Okay.
Yeah, but we are going to be talking today, Sabin, about one of everybody's favorite things. Can you guess what that is?
Money.
Oh, dude, you did guess. Oh my gosh.
Oh shit.
Wow, awesome. Yeah, so for episode 5, guys, we are talking about money. Everything money. And when I first pitched this to Sabin, I was like, we're going to talk about how to get gigs, and then I realized that we would need more to talk about. So what I thought of, Sabin, was talking about basic like budgeting to like keep you alive from project to project, because I don't hear that talked about. Yeah, how do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Sabin, before we start, is there any like I didn't look at it, so if we don't have anything, it's cool, but is there any in the news today? Any events, esports content, any scandals going on that you think is hot?
It's been a pretty low-key day, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Besides it's January 23rd and Scump retired yesterday?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Scump retired.
Scump retired. All right, so we'll put that in the books. And the fun fact about that, guys, is the fact that he did a live watch party for the Call of Duty League, and he had 77,000 live viewers, and the COD League had like 12,000, 15,000.
Yeah, they were down bad at one point.
They were down bad. Yeah. So yeah, guys, in the news today on the 23rd, Scump retired, did a watch party for COD League, and instantly 10x'd their results. So the power of the content creator is real, dudes. Is real.
He also hit a 5K sub trend, which is insane for a stream comeback. Yeah.
A 5,000 subscribers. So if you're like even doing the base for our audio listeners, if you're doing the basic math, that's 5,000 subs at $3. Let's just round the 250 up. That's $15,000.
That's insane.
Yeah, that is wild. Yeah. So the moral of the story, gang, is just get so big that the league needs you. And you can't get let go. Even if you're trying to retire, they'll drag you back in. That's a really good one, Sid.
Just when you thought you were out of the game. Literally, the game.
Hey, I got you. How long? What are your predictions? How long until Scump goes back to like casting?
Honestly, I'd be surprised if at the third major, which is hosted by Optic, he's not commentating in some sense. I'd be surprised.
Gotcha.
Which would be March.
March. Cool. So we'll be on the lookout. We'll do an update in March, gang. All right, let's get into the show. Yeah, we're talking about money, guys, and we're going to start real basic. We're literally going to lay out. I told Sabin this yesterday. I was like, let's just lay out what we're doing for what we did first. Like, we've had a couple clients, Sabin. Like, you've had your own, and I've had my own, and we have shared clients. So we're going to talk about our previous client work. We don't have to disclose names, but like how we got the client, how we negotiated the deal, what a deal looks like. I'm sure most people don't know, like, even what the process is. It's a suitcase full of money if you're Sabin. Yeah. But yeah, we're going to break it all down, guys, because I think there's a lot of mystery around money. Sabin, do you remember your first paid gig?
Your
first freelance?
Actually, I do. Oh my gosh, and the amount I'm about to tell you I got paid for it is
I'm so
literally
excited.
pathetic. It is
Let's hear the deets, dude. Spill the tea. As much information
dude.
as you're allowed to spill. I think it would be
Oh
helpful
yeah.
for our audience to know, like, guys, we do a lot of dumb free things. Not dumb, but it's
So
like the grind.
one of the first ones that I can remember getting paid for was a Call of Duty montage. It was in 2017, and it was 12 clips, which I did color correction. I added effects to. I even did a few cinematics here and there. Guess how much I charged?
$15. Was it 20?
$4.
You charged $4.
$4. 25 cents per clip.
No. What year was this?
2017.
2017. We charged. Okay, I like
Look,
it. I
I
want to
lack a
break.
lot of confidence. Okay,
No,
I
no, no.
think
I
that's
want to
the
break it
moral of
down
the
because,
story
like,
here.
this is, dude, like, seriously, like, that's like, this is what actually happens because I've been there. Like, I've been to the point where, like, I've promised so many videos that, like, I'm, like, doing the math in my head. I'm, like, I'm literally charging, like, 10 cents per video cutting. All right, so let's break down your deal, Saban. What was,
Mhm.
how did you meet the client? Like, how did you get to the point where you signed a contract? So, like, let's roll it back. How did you get introduced to the client? Did you, like, find them? Did you get referred? What was that like?
So I was an official editor for the team, but it was like Call of Duty, like esports, early esports days. So like keep in mind, being an official editor for the team meant I have it in my username, and I'm in their group chat. Uh,
Right.
so yeah, that's about as official as it was. And then we
Mhm.
discussed all of it over Skype. Jesus, even further flashback to get all the nitty gritty
Yee.
details on the song, the color correction vibes, how many cinematics, because it was an extra 50 cents per cinematic, I forgot.
Ooh,
Yeah, 'cause
upcharging. You were
I was
upcharging
upcharging,
back in the day. You were hustling, dude. You had the a la carte menu. You're like, yo,
right?
you want the captions with some extra with for like what, 10 cents?
And honestly, they were like, I'm not even surprised some people didn't even wanna pay, like, $10 per Call of Duty edit. They're like, "I don't know, that's a little much." I'm like, "Bro, I'm gonna spend, like, 6 hours making a banger for you. It's barely a dollar an
So,
hour."
oh
These are literal
man.
prison wages, literal
So
prison wages.
did you pitch the cost? Were you like, yo, I'll do it for $10? You were like, hey
Eh
yo,
yeah, I was like, "This is how much I charge per clip, so if that's how many clips, this is what I'm doing."
okay, all right, and they negotiated you down,
They
or
tried to, yeah, and then
okay.
I'm always like, "Bruh,
So when
it's $10."
now I know it's like literally a couple dollars, but like guys, it doesn't matter the dollar amount. Like the process will always be weird and awkward. I think is
Yes.
like the moral. Like, what was the process? Like, how did you? This is like the key handoff. How do you
Mhm.
ask for money? Like, how do you
Um
like negotiate for the money, and then how do you ask for it? Like, what does that conversation look like when you're like, "Hey, yo, I'm your editor," and they're like, "Cool, you're the guy. What's next?"
Normally, I ask them how much they're looking to spend because that'll give you a good gauge on if it's even worth your time considering, honestly. Especially, you want to get that out of the way early. You want
The
to know
budget.
what their price range is because
Hmm.
you don't want to be overzealous with like this is how much I'm charging unless you're already an established individual because then it doesn't matter, obviously. But when you're starting off, you're like, how much money do you have? And if you're like, damn, that's bad. Just ghost them. Don't ghost them. But just tell them I don't have enough time for this project, and I'm sorry, and I hope you find somebody else.
Dude,
But if
I
it sounds like it's in your price range, then
then
you
you
go in and
then you go in.
yeah.
Uh, okay, cool. So you open up negotiations. They want you so you open up the conversation. They want you as the editor. You want to take them on as a client because you've asked them their budget and it's within the range. And you're like, cool, I'll do this. $10, maybe not the best, but you nailed the
Yeah.
contract, right? So then you're like, all right, cool.
Right.
Um, now did you have like an NDA for this, or was this pretty much just like a
No.
$10 video you just
Little
edited?
$10 video, dude.
Cool.
Yeah.
And in your like, did you do any edits for them? Like, or was it like a one and done? Like, what was the deliverable like? Guys, a deliverable, by the way, for those who don't know, you will need to know this. A deliverable is a promised item to a client, right? So it's like Saban promised a 2-minute video to the client for in exchange for the money, and it was due on a certain day. That's called a deliverable. It's what you deliver to the client. Uh, when you delivered your first
Enable
video,
time.
Yeah, yeah. When you delivered that first video, Sabe,
Yeah.
did you give them like like notes, like a repass? Like what was that like?
I sent it to them and I was like, "So what do you think?"
Right, right.
And then originally my color correction was way too purple, like
Mm.
really, really purple. So we fixed that up, and then the second revision was good to go. Yeah,
Baller, dude. Cool.
yeah,
So you were already hustling like day one. Guys, if you're not already hustling, there's a no. I'm just kidding. Saban's a maniac. I love it. Pro tip: don't charge $10, guys.
yes.
You could make more than $10 on that.
Don't sell
Um,
yourself short.
yeah, don't do that. But the lessons are in there, right? So Saban like went out, found the gig, negotiated, made sure he held firm on his price, whatever that price may be, and then got the project over. He delivered the goods. Um, was there another video after that, or was that like one and done? You're like, all right, cool,
So I did two more videos for that team, quote unquote.
nice,
Um, and two of them, the one that I was talking about first was a player introduction, and I did
yeah,
another player introduction, and then I did like I think I did part two to like a team Taj, which
mm.
is just a bunch of their players in one montage for anybody who's not aware. Um, and yeah, they were all pretty relaxed. The team Taj one was definitely the most heavily edited. I think I did 4 versions of that one.
Oh dang,
And it's because like, the first version, we ended up swapping the song, then they wanted more effects added, and then they're like, "Actually, can we change the order of the clips?" Which, by the way, is a really difficult thing to do
oh yeah,
after you've already made the video. But, I'm a pleaser, so, I'm done what's the extra 15 hours to resync all of it, right?
all right, no, just
Um,
a cool 15 hours,
right. So, yeah, no, that was my experience, and then I got dropped from the team.
nice, love when that happens.
Um, yeah, because they swapped editing management, and the editor
Mm.
was like, "You're
You
not up
lost
to
your
our
plug.
standards."
Yeah, you lost your
Exactly,
plug.
and then I was like, "Damn." And then I went to college, and then I got a
Nice.
real job. So,
Cool.
yeah.
I got a real job. Yeah. No, dude, I love that. I think like um I think like some key takeaways there, guys, is like Saban, he laid out the project. He said, "Hey, for $10, I'll do your 4-minute video." Um so that's called the scope of project, right? So Saban said 4-minute video. That's the requirement that he's delivering, and then how much it'll cost the client. And he made a good scope. He came up with a scope of work. Did you know it was a scope of work back then, or you were just like, I'll
Nope.
cool,
Yeah, no, it's just that was just the process, the creative
yeah.
flow,
Yeah. So like
which is
naturally,
good.
guy, yeah, it's like, dude, it's like honestly common sense. Like a lot of this stuff is just common sense. Like if you just apply a little bit of critical thought, your next step is usually pretty obvious. No, I love that, dude. But you had like a cooler first story, dude. My first client was boring as hell.
What was your first client?
I'm glad you asked, Saban. Thank you. You're such a good interviewer. My first client was a medical marketing company. So I lived in a split level house in North Jersey where I lived in the top floor. It was a bunch of college kids, and in the bottom floor was a really young couple who had just had a kid, and the husband worked for a marketing company. He was the CEO, like, and I had no idea. So he was like, he saw me filming in the backyard for our YouTube channel. He was like, "Hey, do you do that? Like, do you make videos for money?" And I was like, "Of course, yeah, dude. Like, I'm in college. I wanted to make some money." So I was like, "Well, what do you need?" He's like, "I have these doctors, and they just want to record like the dumb questions they get asked on repeat. Like, how do I schedule an appointment?" And it was like little 1-minute clips, and it was like FAQ basically. So each doctor, we would come up with like 8 questions. We would go out to the doctor, we would film them in an interview, and then we would cut it all up and send them videos. I don't know where they lived. I didn't publish them. They were terrible. Uh, but dude, we were making $1,000 a video right off the rip. Well, $1,000 per
I took my
doctor, right?
laughter back.
Yeah.
That's a
No,
respectable
we
income per
we
video.
were hustling. Me and Alan. You know Alan. Shout out
Yeah.
Alan. I hope
Shout
Alan's
out
doing
the
good out
cow
there.
demon.
The Cow Demon. Yo, everybody go follow Cow Demon on Twitter.
Love cow demon.
So
The
Alan
jacket's
was
coming
my
off.
graphics guy. It's time to take it off. It's getting hot in here because I just raised the price. So I'm making in college like you would go out and make $1,000 a weekend, And then yeah, I stopped waiting tables. Like I waited tables 1 day a week to keep my job. And that's when we as soon as we got the first check, my neighbor was like, "Hey yo, I can't pay you in your like to your name. Like you have to create an LLC so I can pay you." And I had never heard of that. I was like, "What do you mean? I can't just give me the cash?" And he's like, "No, man. Like I get tax incentives if I pay you this way." So I had to not only make the videos, which I'd never done before, and I freaking lied. I Googled it. I had to learn how to incorporate. So I made an LLC. I made a multimedia company with Alan as my co-owner, and the guy could pay us. It was cool. We called it Heroic Heathens. And
Ooh.
yeah, we had the alliteration. We had like early signs of branding. I was Googling like how to brand yourself every single day. Because I'm like, dude, this is just one client. In my head, I'm like, okay, I just need one more, and I'm making like 10,000 a month. I was like, yeah, fuck college. Like I was still in college at this point, but like I dropped out of college that year.
Yeah.
That was the year I was like, I'm not gonna do my acting degree anymore, and I'm gonna focus on this. And then Amazon called me one day and they hired me. That's a story for another day. But it was interesting because I actually got to go through the LLC process. And an LLC, guys, is a limited liability company. Super boring talk, but basically what it means is like if Saban hires me, if he hires my LLC to edit for him, and he's not happy with it, and I say, well, that's tough luck, bud, and he wants to sue me, he can only sue my LLC. So like my personal assets are protected, and if Saban wins that lawsuit, he can just take the LLC, and the cool part is you can make a new one. But don't get sued. We don't recommend it.
Not condoning it, but
No.
hypothetically,
But
the
hypothetically,
option's there.
yeah, and like an LLC is not expensive, and I recommend it for like creators who are starting to get paid because everything becomes a tax write-off. So the cool thing with LLCing, which we're gonna figure out for Odd Man Out, is if Saban buys a new camera for our podcast and we were LLC'd, that is a business expense. Like it's a tax. It helps you with your taxes because everything you use that's important for your trade, for your business. The government wants, like, they'll help you out. It's pretty cool, but we won't get into that. That's super deep. But yeah, first client, I was editing $1,000 per doctor. And that was like once a month, because I was in college. I couldn't maintain that schedule. And then 3 months later, I moved to Washington, D.C. for Amazon. That's how I made money, Saban.
Really?
Any questions?
That's fascinating, dude. I mean, honestly, that I did not know. That
Really?
was
I thought I told you, like, I started by editing for doctors.
I think you mentioned that, but I didn't know this was a whole process. So it's cool to know a little more detailed into deeper.
Yeah, and while I was doing that, I actually worked with a snowboarding company too. So with the same LLC, we edited for a snowboard company. That was a fun one.
What was that like? Did you actually go on to film snowboarders?
No, so that was the first time I've worked with sourced content. And that's like where like you'll get a project where they film for you. So they would send the player out to snowboard and then send us the footage. That was the first time I've ever had to do that. The snowboarder, they had a sponsored snowboarder who was in the X Games. And he's on that show Nitro Circus. Have you ever heard of that show?
Oh, yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, Brandon Schmidt is their snowboarder.
Oh,
so I worked with Brandon Schmidt. I interviewed him. Like
That's
literally like first couple months starting my company, and I was working. It was cool. Yeah, you had to like learn how to do contracts and stuff. That was cool. NDAs.
Interesting. That's dope.
Yeah.
I surprisingly, I think the first NDA I signed was with the company we both worked for.
Nice.
Or OS. Or did we have to do one for them? Right? I don't know if we ever did really do like an NDA officially.
That was a unique situation.
Right.
But yeah, we did. We could not share client privileged information. Yeah, there was like we couldn't take the footage and use it for like our own stuff. But that was a unique situation. Guys, there's like tons of ways. That's why I wanted to do this episode, because like what Saban's talking about is like client work where you go in as an entity, right? Like we went in as an entity, and you get a client, and we did a whole month of work. It was like 30 days, but a much higher caliber. Like Saban was editing like all the time, like a lot of hours, and we had to be on like meetings for the company, because it was a retainer. So we made you set up the deal, and something about that like maybe Saban didn't know, is that hold on, let me shut this. I'm gonna pause it, edit this out of the podcast.
The dog is being loud. Bye, Freya.
So the girlfriend just got home. So where was I? Oh,
Entity entering
entity.
OS.
Yeah. So
Yes.
like a way that me and Saban like to do it is we'll find a client. And we'll break down the process. But what we like to do is like find a client, hit him up, and be like, "Yo, there's the camera." Hit him up and be like, "Yo, Saban's an editor. He edits for this. I do all the liaisoning, like the contracting, the negotiating the price, and the deliverables, so that we don't kill Saban. And then I'm the guy who like does all the meetings, because sometimes when you work with a retainer client, they want you to be on their meetings, which was I didn't know was a thing. I don't recommend it.
Weird.
It's kind of a waste of time, but I think they assumed that we would like renew month after month, and me and Saban pieced out 30 days,
Yeah.
like did not re-sign.
Not worth.
No, and that's the cool thing about freelance is like you can like you can choose different types of work and when you want to do it. So we got to wet our beaks into a field that we were like, nah, we don't want to do that.
No.
Check out the YouTube shorts. We actually posted it. YouTube at Odd Man Out Studio. Shameless plug. Yeah. So that's like we do really interesting like contracts, but we want to keep it super surface level. Like we want to keep it easy for like somebody who's new, to get started doing this, right? So Saban, you're an editor, right? You got a skill, and hopefully you don't get paid just $10 anymore.
Yeah, a little more.
No, a little bit more. So Saban, we haven't started this for Odd Man Out, but we are going to be doing it, and you know we're going to be doing it because we have a list of potential clients. So I figured we'd talk about that, the super secret list, and what that process has been like, right?
The cold outreach.
The cold outreach. Do you know anything about cold outreach, Dave? Have you ever had to cold outreach? You have. You've cold outreach for us.
Yeah,
what's cold?
For us.
Explain what a cold outreach is, like in layman's terms.
In layman's terms, it's a person who sends messages to another person of value, in the hopes of making a connection between you.
Yeah, it's like literally what like you never talk to this person, so you're going in cold, usually, and it's really awkward. But it's like usually your first impression to get a gig, so it's really really important when you're cold DMing to do it properly.
Yes, there's a lot of ways to do it wrong, and there are a few ways to do it right.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. So let's do that. Let's what are the ways to do cold DMing properly? Saban's tips for cold DMs.
The first one I think for sure is make sure you're reaching out to them where they are asking you to reach out to them. So if they're like, email me your stuff, don't message them on Twitter. Or if they're like, just send me a DM, then it's totally fine to message on Twitter. Some people want you to fill out a Google form. Like there's just and I know this is something that you're big on as well, Danny, is making sure you pay attention to the instructions so that you know what to do properly. Okay, because I know what pisses everybody off is you say, "Oh, send me an email," and then they're in your Twitter DMs like, "Hello there." It's not what anybody wants. So please make sure you're reaching out in the right place, because a lot of the times, unless you're like some freak of nature anomaly that they're like, "Oh my god, I need to read this DM," they're gonna ignore it.
Right.
Like it's
Right.
just they're not gonna look at it because they're like, if you can't even do that instruction, how are you going to take my editing instructions?
Yeah, no, that is my pet peeve. You nailed it. It's just like following instructions. When you're cold DMing, something that I like to keep in mind is like, hey, if somebody's gonna read your message, what value? Like, why should they take time out of their day to read it? So I always ask myself, like, what can I give this person for free right now to make it worthwhile? Right. So I'll like if I was gonna cold DM like a potential client for me and Saban, here's what I would do. I would go to their Twitter profile, or whatever profile was their main profile. I would scroll through and I'd find a post from like 2 months ago, right? I'm literally giving you the blueprint. Find a post from 2 months ago something they were really proud of, something that got a lot of engagement on their page, something that they would be like, yo, mom, look what I posted. Find that post and bookmark it. Read the post. That's very important. Look at what it's actually celebrating or what the post is about. Then what I do is I look at like where they work, you know, kind of like if they got a promotion or anything like recently. If not, then I just use the post. And I say, hey, dude, congrats on boom. And you link it, right? But don't link it in the main message. So you're going to type out the message first and send it. And I'll tell you why later. This is a hot pro tip. So you're going to type in the message, hey, Danny, um, you know, that moment when you won the Nobel Peace Prize for amazing content, congrats. That was awesome, dude. Any advice for somebody who wants the Nobel Prize themselves? Cool. Now you've buttered them up. Now they're ready. They're listening because you've greased them up. And the next step is to literally like, hey, I'm not going to waste your time. I noticed that you have a podcast, but you're not uploading any videos to YouTube Shorts. After 1 month of YouTube Shorts posting on a brand new channel, we managed to get about 30,000 views. And we want to bring that kind of we want to bring that kind of engagement to your page. If you got 5 minutes, I can talk you through it. When are you free? And then send that message, and then you want to add any links. Because here's the thing. If you add a link in a DM right from the start, it can go to spam. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You don't want to put a link because then your post starts with the especially on Twitter. When you post a link on Twitter, at the top of the DM is where the thumbnail preview of whatever thing that is will pop up. And most of the time, the person won't read it. They'll think it's a screenshot for like a scam giveaway. So they won't read your message. So get your message out first. And yeah, that's how to cold DM. Like blueprint. Yeah, it's
I didn't
blueprint.
even know that, so that's good to know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was gonna teach you that. Well, I was gonna show you because like me and Saban, like we're doing this. We take turns like doing different. Saban edits a lot, so like I do a lot of the businessy side of it. But Saban's gonna help me with outreach because we have 105 people that we need to reach out to. We hired a VA, which is a virtual assistant, to go and find us the perfect client. Do you know how to find the perfect client, Saban?
No, not at all,
No?
actually.
Okay, good. Well, that's why I'm here to tell you how to find your perfect. Basically, I was like, yo, what do me and Saban do really well? We do a podcast, we put it on video, and then Saban cuts it up real good, and I post it real good, and then it gets real good views. That's what we're good at. So the problem we solve for podcasts is they don't have enough time to do all that or the know-how to do it. So I said, what if we, for money, yes, Lumpy, for money, and power. So what I said was, yeah, or Lumpy can cut the VOD. Nobody hire Lumpy unless you're looking for security. But he signed.
For security, 10 out of 10 recommendation.
Yeah,
for
10
me.
out of 10. But anywho, so to find the perfect client, then you just find a problem that you can solve. The problem for podcast people that we could solve was like they're podcast people. They probably don't know how to run a YouTube channel, but that's free. That's free views. So now Saban is going to take this list. So basically, I take that requirement. I say they have to have a podcast, they have to have a YouTube channel, and they have to like be real bad at it. I got to be like, if they're not posting every day, put them on the list. And then when I asked the virtual assistant, I said, get a contact. It has to be a DM link, an email, some way to get in touch. If you can't get in touch, just go on to the next one because it's like, how are you going to get in touch? It's a pain in the ass. Once you have that list, boom, cold DM, dude. Now Saban can sort the list by the biggest client to the smallest client. And Saban, you can start DMing because you have the recipe. That's the whole process right there, dude.
That was the whole process, really?
That's dead ass. Yeah, you just find your ideal client, hire for like, we paid about $80 for our VA because he was like $10 an hour. And then for 10
that wasn't bad enough.
No, yeah, and then for he was 10 an hour and we paid him it. So for 8 hours, he just plugged away and he got as far as he could. And now Saban has 105 to 110. They're cold leads, but we know that they have a problem and we know how to solve their problem. So out of 105, Saban, I don't know, man. How many you think, Saban, you're gonna grease up and how many sales you getting next week, dude? I'm ready to hear the prediction.
I feel like we're gonna get 7 replies.
Yeah. Yep, that's about right. 10%. Dude, 7% conversion. I think we're gonna get 20 replies, and out of the 20, we'll get 5 paying clients. You get
Yeah,
five
I think
five
that's
paying
valid.
clients. Yeah.
Yeah. But honestly, I mean, for the $80 for the VA, right?
Yeah,
All
you
we
just do the
need is
cost.
one decent client or two like smaller things,
Oh, no,
and
no,
then
no,
that's
you
the
don't even
$80
need
back.
no, you'll make the $80 off with less than 1 client with the
Again, I'm selling myself short, Chad.
yeah, Sabin,
The
you're
yeah.
don't charge $10, Sabin. We're
All I'd
gonna
have to do is 30 videos then, and
no,
I'd be able to
no,
pay
no,
back
no,
my
guys,
VA
like,
debt.
yeah, yeah, no, but it's a good point, like, it's like but you don't wanna work yourself into, like, I'm the cheap guy. You wanna work yourself into the, I'm the smart guy. So when we're gonna
Yeah,
cold DM these people, we're gonna flaunt our knowledge because the goal is not to edit their content. That's gonna be like, boom, baseline, every month we can rinse and repeat that service. But what we're really gonna do is we're gonna try to upcharge them on channel management where after Saban edits the videos or our editor edits them and they go into a folder, why am I talking like that? I can go in and manage their YouTube, like upload all their shorts on a schedule and publish for them, right? So
yeah,
now we can go from making a couple $100 on the service, which really won't take us that long to do because we're really good at it, to like charging like $1,000 because you're providing a service. And if you do it well and you don't cause like any friction for your customer, that's every single month, right? As long
yeah.
as they can afford it. So that's the game plan, gang. That's the whole business. That's like just one way to make money uh with content. What do you think, Sib?
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty solid business model right there, I'm not gonna lie.
Hell yeah. Do you have any questions or insights about that process before we move on?
I think something good for cold DMing, just as a rule of thumb, is make sure you come off as presentable, nice, address them properly. So, like, if you're not sure if it's Mr. or Mrs. or yeah, do as much research as you can to make sure that you're talking to the right person in the right way, because ultimately this is your first person of contact. And like for me personally, when I'm reaching out to like organizations, I always start it with like uh, hello to whoever is receiving this so that you're not signaling out just one person or you don't misgender somebody by accident or any number of things that nowadays you should be conscious of while trying to reach out to newer clients.
Hell
It's
yeah.
just something I'd like to mention. I think
Yeah,
it's helpful and it makes everybody feel a little more comfortable, just making sure you're not potentially pushing any lines or misaddressing people.
I like it, man. Keep it. It's your first impression, right? First impressions
Exactly.
matter. Good recap, dude. I love that. All right. So we've learned how to get solo clients. We've kind of talked about our intricate setup that we have that's not that intricate. And then we
Mhm.
talked about how we're gonna bank heist, how we're gonna create infinite money through podcast. Uh, Now, where do we go from here, Saban? I had it. What questions do you have? Like when you were doing content, because like you do freelance. So like what
Mhm.
are your biggest hurdles when it comes to, cuz we've talked about it a lot. Like I've helped you like kind of price things. I've helped you build packages. Um
Yeah.
what are some of like the biggest things like that you like, okay, so like we're done talking to the starter, right?
Mhm.
Let's talk to somebody who has like skill. Like not that the starter doesn't have skill, right? But they're at the level where they can edit like you. What things like in 2022 kind of helped elevate your freelance game? Like, did anything this year kind of help you with that, or did you learn anything from like even previous experiences that might help you in that freelance?
Yeah, one thing, and it's something I'm actually working on again now as I'm looking for new work again, is making some sort of reel showing a lot of your best work. I think that's a huge thing because, showing references is good and everything, but putting one place all of the cool stuff that you've made, ideally all of the best looking moments of all those cool things that you've made,
Mm-hmm.
I think can really show a good impression. And if you put a reel together good, if you showcase how you can make 20 pieces of random ass content look really nice together, imagine what you can do with one fluent, cohesive piece that they'd be trying to hire you for. So I think it's good to have a reel because at the same time, they don't always have the 15, 20 minutes to look through the 8 references that you sent them. They're trying to narrow it down early on to see if you're even worth looking at those 8 videos. So making a 30-second, 1 minute video just showcasing the most banger stuff It'll set you apart because not a ton of people do it, and it'll also showcase everything that you can provide, which hopefully, if that's what they're looking for, they'll look into you a bit more.
Yeah, that's really good advice. To add on to that, guys, to give you a resource, because we would like to be super tactical here. To what Saban said, a show reel, like a demo reel, is awesome. If you want an example of a really good demo reel, Netflix on Twitter put out, I think even on YouTube, they did their lineup for their 2023 slate. Did you see that, Saban?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm going to send it to you. So Netflix did the perfect example of a show reel by using the 2023 lineup they have for this year, which was really smart. I haven't seen them do that. Like what's coming to Netflix.
Ooh. Oh, I actually know what you're talking about now. Yes.
Yeah,
That was
and
a really cool video.
we'll link it. We'll link it in the it'll be in the newsletter and the podcast. By the way, guys, we do have a newsletter. I will link it in the show notes. Where we
Sign
add
up.
resources like that. So we're gonna link that to you guys. Yeah, it's just really well done, and some tips for your show reel that like I learned from that Netflix thing. Maybe like when we make this save, we could actually like talk about it. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Show it. Yeah.
So yeah, because I do remember things that stood out to me was finding the perfect scenes that lined up, right? So like they would have dialogue from one movie that kind of matched the beat of the next one. Was
Yeah.
very well done. So like whoever went in and sourced, it's not easy to do that, but like they found the perfect movie beats to pull out and the perfect sound bites in response. And the second thing they did really well was pacing. They paced it by using like rapid shot movie clips, call and response, and then they broke it up with big block text. Right? They were like, "Oh, are you ready?" And it was like, it paces it. It's like a palate cleanser. It's like action, 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 and then it's like a little palate cleanser, and then back into it. Highly recommend. Go check it out. Netflix's movie recap of the movie 2023 clip.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's really
Transitioning
good.
is huge. It really is.
Mhm.
That is one of the really cool things that they did in that video for sure. Is everything it fed into each other. It felt fluid, even though everything was completely different, which is probably the best way that you can make it, right? Make it seem like it all goes together in the
Yeah,
chaos.
it was so well done. Just like taking the time to find moments in a movie where there's no backtrack, right? Like there's no soundtrack underneath of it too. I know that's a pain in the butt. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, guys, we'll link it in the newsletter. Showreel is an amazing piece of advice, Saban. Like that's have a sample. Like I like a lot of people don't have a sample, but like if you don't have a gig yet and you don't have a sample, like make something. Go make like 4 different types of videos. Literally find like 4 topics that mildly interest you, like gaming, cooking, fashion, fitness. Those none of those go together. And then make 1 30-second video for each, and then cut it up. I think that's pretty tangible advice.
Yeah.
And then add music, add some caption, like add some pop in text. Boom, you did a whole show reel, and it probably takes you about a week to do from scratch. You can even go. You know what I just thought about, Saban? If you don't have footage, go into like Unsplashed, that free B-roll site. You
Mm,
go to Unsplashed. It's a free B-roll site, so everything in there is free use. Find music, find clips that you like in a niche that you like, and cut together B-roll. Because if you can make B-roll look together, like look like a story that you didn't shoot, imagine what you could do when you do plan it.
yeah, I would 100% agree. That's
Uh,
when I first started learning how to do Call of Duty editing or just gameplay editing in general. I would just download like free clip packs on YouTube, and I'd just be like, I'm gonna make an edit with a bunch of random stuff because I don't have my own, so might as well learn through other people's.
yeah, yeah. No, that's yeah. That I mean, you gotta keep your like the thing about being a content creator is like you need to kind of wear multiple hats. Like you can't just be a really good editor or a really good channel manager. You got to have like this business mindset or like this efficiency mindset. This the growth mindset that we talked about on
Yeah,
episode 4. Callback. But you got to really think about all of the stuff that you do and how you can like optimize every little piece so that you can juice everything that you're doing because you're the solo creator, man. You're just by
yeah,
yourself doing your own thing. It's a grind. So we're here to make it easy. Um, guys, we're not going to talk about finance, or we're not going to talk about like package pricing and like things like super specifically, we did throw out some numbers. If you're interested in the business side, if you're like a brand, a business, a content creator, and you want to know about how we price packages, like how much we charge to do work, hit us up. Oddmanout at oddmanoutstudio.com. Shoot us an email. We're transparent, man. We got the receipts. We'll help you guys out because talking about
Or
money,
reply.
yeah, we will reply. But it can be like really weird to like ask a client for money. It's an uncomfortable thing because we made money taboo. But
Yes.
it is the lifeblood of your content. Like you're gonna need it. You need a roof. You don't really need a roof, but it'd be nice
You
to have
need
a roof.
internet.
You need internet, so we got to pay the bills. Yeah. So shoot us an email. We won't go into details because we dropped some numbers before. To wrap up the show, I don't know, Sabe. How do you want to wrap it for this one? I think we did how to make money as a solo creator. We did it how to do it as a group. We did a blueprint for getting clients, literally letting people copy paste our business
Right.
model. Offered our services, which are always great. Any last advice, Sabin, that you have for financials when dealing with financials? Things that you wish you would have known when you were younger, things that you've learned in the past year about finances. It doesn't even have to be content stuff. It could be like adulting stuff.
Yeah. If you're freelancing, budget for taxes, because you'll have to do your own taxes most of the time. So, just account, and this is a larger amount, but I account for like 30 to 35% just to be safe. I think normally it's more closer to like 25, but you never know. It's always better to be safe than sorry. Just make sure you're charging appropriately so that you don't come into a situation where you were spending normally and then you've got like $3,000 out and you have no money.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Not financial
I'd say
advice, by the way. Not financial advice.
do
We
your own
do
research,
your research, but yes, save money for the tax man. I personally save 50%. Again, not financial advice, but I will take 50% of all income that is generated, put it into a side account, and then I pay off the first 50%. And then yeah. But again, if you guys need help with like that stuff, hit us up because we run businesses. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Um, my parting advice, man, is just like get comfortable with your finances, man. Like I think finance is like they don't talk about it in school. I'm kind of nerdy about it. I have a budget. If you're looking to do this, what I waste here's what I did when I was starting out that I would advise not to do, Saban. Ready for this?
Yeah.
When I was in high school, going into college, I used to make a video and then immediately go and boost the video. Like I would go into YouTube ads, Google ads, and I would just pay like $10 a day to get views. And I would just do that until like I realized I was overdrawing my bank account, and I was like, "But you're not building true fandom. You're getting thousands of views,
Yeah.
but like what like it's doing what ads are meant to do, but you're not building and nurturing an audience." So my advice, guys, is don't run random ads when you're first starting out. Don't run ads. I mean, I wouldn't say never, but don't run ads until like you've made like 80 videos, bro. Like go make
Yeah.
content. Go make go make it first, and don't worry about the financial stuff until you have to cross that bridge. And when you do, find your friendly neighborhood Odd Man Out podcast, and we'll answer all of your questions either live on the show. You can email us at oddmanout at oddmanoutstudio. And yeah, we that's what we're here for. So hit us up if you guys get trapped. Saban, where can the lovely people of the internet find you, follow you, and keep up to date with what you're doing?
You should go to Twitter and look up at Just Saban. That's the best place. But also on YouTube, I've reserved the handle at Just Saban. So, sauce me a sub while you're at it.
Yeah, sauce that sub up to motivate my dude over here to get his personal content grind going. Saban's an amazing co-host, as always. Keeps pushing me to be better. Go subscribe, guys. He's got some stuff coming down. Check out Take Flight. I'm a plug it. Take Flight season started. They are doing good. I'm not gonna jinx it.
Sure.
So Godspeed to you and your team. Guys, you can follow me at Danny B Social on all the platforms. LinkedIn is my preferred, because again, I'm the business guy now. Ugh, weird to say. Yeah, and the podcast, guys, is not sponsored by anybody, so I'm gonna plug Odd Man Out Studio. If you are
Yes.
interested in growing your brand, If you're interested in starting a channel, if you need an editor, if you need thumbnails, if you need any business planning, content strategy, mentorship, anything, hit us up. Oddmanout at oddmanoutstudio.
Yeah, we're
.com.
good.
That's us. Yeah, no, we are full service, man. We got everything. If we don't have it, we'll point you in the direction of somebody who does. Yeah, gang, that's it. Make sure you follow the YouTube.
I got one more quick shout out.
Yeah,
if
what you
possible.
got? What's hit?
Shout out to Danny. It's his birthday.
Oh,
Happy birthday,
get
Danny.
the hell out of it. I'm glad you saved it till the end. That's good.
Yeah,
Because nobody will be here at the end. Anywho, guys, yeah, for my birthday, hit the sub on youtube.com/@oddmanoutstudio. Thank you for allowing me to shamelessly plug our own YouTube, Sabin. Yeah, follow us guys on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and now on Facebook. We are live on Facebook. What up, Facebook? Hi, we're here. I hope you didn't miss us. I upgraded us, Sabin. Yeah. Yeah, we can do 2 more platforms too. But yeah, guys, that's the end of the show. Thank you guys for listening. Go make some fucking content. Stop complaining. Peace.
Right.